Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including RWBY, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Hayley Nabuurs.
Hello.
And Sarah Potter.
Hello.
Back at it with RWBY, and for episode 4 of Volume 7, Pomp and Circumstance, which came out today, 2 hours ago on Rooster Teeth First and VRV and stuff. We talk about RWBY every week here at the Overly Animated Podcast. Find us at overlyanimated.com. Search for us on your podcast app, RWBY Overly Animated. Or our YouTube is youtube.com/overlyanimated. Post all our podcasts there. Check out our previous podcasts on Volume 7. Did I say Volume 7?
I don't know.
Did I say episode 4 of Volume 7 or episode 4?
I don't know if you did
4?
say any of that.
Okay.
I don't think you said any of that until
well,
right now.
That's what the episode is. It's not Volume 4, thankfully, but we have Volume 4-like episode. No, more happens in this one. So, Pomp and Circumstance.
Yes. They lampshade up season 4 in this one.
Okay, that's a preview for your takes on the episode. That doesn't immediately come to mind when... I guess the Weiss drama was the family drama.
Oh, no. I'll mention it. I know exactly what I'll mention it.
Okay, there you go. Spoilers for Pomp and Circumstance. Let's get into it. Hayley, what'd you think of this episode?
I don't know. It felt like a placeholder episode.
Mm-hmm.
And like not entirely filler because they did do stuff. Like they remembered, oh yeah, these people are still students somehow, even though their school got blown up. Might as well give them huntsman status. So I guess that was happening, which I feel like it could have been more impactful, and it wasn't. Continuing to just passionately love the satellite plot line. It's just
I'm glad
so entertaining to me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just so ridiculous, and I'm here for it. So that stuff happened with that, and I think we had a nice little Weiss moment, so that's good. But overall, I think a fairly forgettable episode. There are some nice bonding, like character moments, but not that much impactful happened, in my opinion.
Okay.
So yeah.
Probably fair, but let's see what Sarah has to say about Pomp and Circumstance, including the Volume 4 take. I'm excited. I'm ready.
Well, first off, this episode is another setup episode. Like, I think I said this in the episode 1 pod, but like it feels like this whole season's gonna be a lot of like slow build up to only fights at the end of the season. Because that's kind of what we did last volume, just a different structure. Like we went to the town, or we went to the apathy place, and the apathy place was like Grimm related, but it wasn't a fight. It was like just this scary horror thing. And they're kind of sprinkling in like little fights in the beginning of this season, but we're really keeping the action low, including this episode, which is just like, hey, you're hunters. Hey, here hunters and huntsmen and huntresses. And hey, here's Weiss's dad. And the part that I was talking about, Dylan, is the part when RWBY asked the team if they want to go sightseeing, and then I think it's Weiss said we just saw an entire continent on foot, and RWBY's like, that was just we just saw the boring parts, and I'm like, that's totally calling out season 4.
Oh, so it's the boring parts of
Volume 4. Yeah,
Volume 4. Okay.
Because everyone's just like, oh, we just saw the boring parts of whatever country it was. What was it, Vale?
I don't know. I'm not sure that was an intentional.
I don't think it was intentional. That's all I thought.
Okay, that's good.
Otherwise, there were some fun little character beats in this episode, but it feels like this is just a lot of just more setup, because it's just, we see a couple of little character interactions, like we see some monochrome, we see a Bumblebee moment, and we have a moment with RWBY and Crow, where again, the summer explanation is still kept like secret, which is frustrating. So, I don't know, not much really happened. No real resolution to any plot lines.
No. Yeah.
And not that we're expecting one in a random episode in episode 4, but we didn't like get any progression really either, I mean.
Yeah. I think we see like the aftermath of last week. I don't know if that counts as resolution.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's more just like we're setting up all kinds of other stuff. Because I mean, like, Jacques comes there and it's like, it's not even like he's setting up something completely different. He's like, thank you. You're helping me. And it's like, okay, dude, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't love this episode. It was fine. I'm not in theory opposed to like a character episode. In fact, that's kind of all I want, but I just didn't think the character stuff this episode was that notable. Like, not much of it. I mean, there's some fun things. There's like parts of this episode I like. And yeah, I mean, there's parts I like, and then there's other parts which I think are not good.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like pissed at this episode. It's more just like, okay, you know, we're 4 episodes in. I did like last week's episode, but this is like not looking favorable compared to Volume 6 so far.
So is this worse than any episode of Volume 6, do you think?
This episode, yeah, there's like, I think 1, 2, and 4 of the season would all be in the bottom 3 of last season. Like, yeah.
And this one's below, and this one's might be below all that.
Yeah, I mean, included, yeah, like right around. But that, I will say, that being said, the worst episodes of Volume 6 were at this point in the season. Like, it was when they're standing around in the snow with like Jin and like So this is always like a part of the season they maybe struggle with, or it's just not as exciting, and that's not as much what we're into. So I think also, things could pick up from here.
Like, last season also was buoyed by the fact that there was the flashback episode in the beginning of the season, and it's hard to like just have something like that every season at the beginning, but I also think they can structure it maybe differently. Like, it just feels like you said, they just spend a lot of time setting up seasons when they don't really necessarily need to, like this.
Yeah, and I think maybe one of the issues is that I'm not enthused by the direction of a lot of plot lines here. Like, there's a lot of talk of Atlas politics, which I'm a little bit dreading, but honestly, I would take it over some other stuff going on. And then we're setting up the satellite thing, which could be just like fun to talk about, I guess. But I don't know.
It's so ridiculous.
It's
so stupid.
It's like a good plot line. I don't know. And then there's Jacques stuff that wasn't like fun either. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to, I guess, next week when we might just have fun doing missions, but probably not.
Like, what if we just like spend next episode splitting everyone up, like, and we just do like quick cuts to people, like just doing little missions together, like paired up and stuff?
I'd be good. Great. If we had the right pairings, I'd be totally on board.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the headline is of this episode. I'll say they get their huntsmen and huntresses licenses. Yeah.
But does that matter?
I mean, as Weiss says, it's a little underwhelming. I feel like that. This isn't. It feels trivial now, which it does. But I kind of like this idea. It's like, I feel like did we have a moment in Harry Potter like this? I don't know. It's like you're going to graduate, but you didn't, and now let's revisit that.
I mean, I think the closest to that was like, I don't care. No, I don't want to talk about Harry Potter. I don't know why.
That's what I was reminded of with this type of ththing. But I think this is a good concept. Like, I like giving them their huntsman huntresses licenses. I kind of agree with Hayley's take. Like, this could have been a powerful moment, but it was fine. Right? Like,
it was kind of like, how is this isn't a thing yet? Like, it just felt like it was something they were like, oh yeah, we should probably do that, right, guys? And then they did it. Like, it didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, in theory, this is they could have done this at any point, and they're doing it now for a reason.
It's just what it is they kind of made this moment, which could have been an interesting emotional moment. They turned into this moment where, again, Ironwood is giving them something, and they're like, "Look, Ironwood, you get to all this stuff from Ironwood, like, as long as you stay on his side." Like, that's what it more felt like this moment was than this emotional moment where they finally get to become huntresses and huntsmen. And I don't know. I think that was the wrong flavor to give this scene. I think this is better as just like, this is what you guys were working for. It's a little bittersweet. It's like not really what you wanted in the first place.
Is it because there's the should we trust Ironwood stuff hanging over this? Yeah. Because
like he mentions, like, in the middle of his speech, he's like, he mentions, like, as long as you're by my side or stuff like that. Like, because you're on my side, I can help you like this and stuff. Like, he's trying to, like, I don't think he's trying to be mean or like malicious, but he's like, he has clout and he has power, and he uses it to get people on his side, whether he is actively meaning to or not. And this is another example of that. Because Crow couldn't do this, despite the fact that in a lot of ways we view Crow as a character very, like, parallel to Ironwood.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess Ironwood gives them the licenses because he, like, registers them in Atlas, and he can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Hayley, did you see? I guess in general with this episode, what do you think about like the trustworthiness of Ironwood and maybe how that related to the scene with the licenses?
I don't know. I still feel like I don't distrust him, and I feel like this episode didn't make me distrust him. I kind of like that he's like, yeah, let's be honest with each other. I don't know. I don't see him as a bad guy, but maybe that'll come back to bite me. Like maybe he'll be really bad or something. But I think everything he's doing has, even if I don't know if I agree with 100% what he's doing, but like he's thinking about things logically and he's trying to look at a bigger picture. And I think he was like, "Oh yeah, cool. Why aren't you guys huntresses and hunters?" And then he was like, "Okay, let's do this." I don't know. I haven't read too much into him, which is maybe suspicious, but
like I feel like he's just a good person who is doing something really weird and dumb. Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, and but he's also being shown as like as a smart character. So I'm like, is this smart? Is this the smartest thing you could be doing, Ironwood?
Yeah,
or is it just the writers wanted to call back to the earlier seasons, and they're like the stadium, and then they were like, okay, let's bring them to the stadium.
That's definitely what you want to do.
Get the students in there. I think Ironwood is being clouded by story choices that don't make sense, that his character wouldn't really condone, but because of the story, he's having to do it.
Did they write this satellite plotline just because they wanted them to get their huntsmen and huntresses licenses here? I hope not.
It connects to the throwback to like the school seasons,
Yeah.
It makes sense that would be the environment they would do it in.
I know, but it's also really messed up because like this place is filled with trauma for them. Like, why would they?
This is what we were talking about last week. Yeah, which is like,
Penny, you died right where you're standing, and she's like, "Yay, cake!"
Yeah, we didn't explore Penny and Yang's trauma here at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And
that felt weird.
The only person who seemed upset was RWBY, and like she should have trauma from this because she watched Penny die here. Yeah, but true. Yang is all like happy-go-lucky right now, and
he's like, "Here, take my arm off." Like,
yeah, I kind of thought RWBY would be off to the side and Crow was going to talk to her about Penny dying here, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, we just do a lot of small moments with characters in this episode, which none of it is like there's like fun moments, but none of it is like what we're looking for, I guess. Like there's not, despite being an episode where the characters interacted a lot, as I continue to track the season, is this a good episode for Team RWBY interacting with each other? I would say like mostly no. Like there's not a lot of depth to anything that was happening with Team RWBY. So like this is a quiet character episode, but we're not getting these types of in-depth interactions. We're not getting like any sort of flashback to the trauma characters have had in this Coliseum.
Yeah.
I just like a lot of like little like empty jokes, I would say.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we're not having moments where they're sitting down and having discussions that further the story or further their character development, or we get an insight in their personality. They're just kind of talking with each other at a very surface level. And this episode could have had some really interesting, deeper things happening, but it didn't.
Here's my frustration. If we were going to use this location to do this, which I think is stupid because it's filled with trauma for them, we should have addressed the trauma besides other than Ironwood just saying this place has a lot of history with you guys and then not talking about it anymore. Mm-hmm. But if we aren't going to do that, why didn't we just do this in Ironwood's office? Like storytelling wise, like I'm very confused by this choice that we didn't address the thing, even though the writing did address it.
Yeah, we just didn't use the location at all.
Yeah, like it seems a little strange. It seems a little strange. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know if I'm remembering it incorrectly, but I would imagine that the stadium would have been pretty wrecked.
Yeah.
After
I guess they put it back together. Yeah.
I think they mentioned rebuild.
But that adds to my satellite fascination because they were like, yes, it's going to become a satellite, but let's rebuild it as a stadium.
You have to rebuild the stadium
and everything,
and then
and then rebuild it into a satellite. Right?
Why do they? Yeah, were all the seats there? I guess they were. That's when RWBY and Crow were sitting in the seats. Yeah,
they like brand new.
Why do they need? Well, the seats might have still been there, but why do they need them there? Why don't they take them out? Like that's not
because we're gonna fight in the satellite, Dylan. We're gonna be fighting.
I mean, obviously we're gonna fight. Yeah.
No,
Dylan,
in the that's air. Actually gonna happen.
Dylan, I'm so excited. We're gonna be
fighting in space.
Fighting in the stadium. I am so excited. Oh my god!
space
The
fight.
moon is like
Okay.
right above them with the thing.
Oh my god! I wasn't
Yes,
excited.
and the moon.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the gods.
How
will
long
come
until
out
we?
with
How long until we
or
fight on the
something.
moon? Like that's definitely happening, right? At some point
That's
in
the
the
end of
show.
series
season.
finale.
We'll see.
Dylan. That's the series
Is
finale.
that the finale in 20 years
yeah.
when they fight on the moon? Okay.
It's RWBY
Yeah.
like flying across the moon with like in pedal form, like fighting something.
Okay, I'm even more into the satellite storyline now. We're gonna have a space fight.
Now that they have to fight on it, okay. Yeah, it's
Oh,
getting
funny.
launched soon. I'm surprised it didn't get launched this episode, but I guess that's too soon for a
They gotta
season
do
of RWBY,
prep.
something happening.
They gotta take all the work they did out and then put new stuff in.
Yeah, are they going to get rid of the seats now? Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah,
we'll see. Back to my like empty character moments. An example I would say is what we talked about with like RWBY, like, oh, let's go sightseeing in Atlas, and everyone's like, nah. I don't know. That moment I was like, okay, that's it. Sure. There are some good moments I think with Weiss and Blake. So there's a few ones which I want to get to. But yeah, I think there's just that scene with like Ruby's like let's go. I don't know what we're doing there. It wasn't fun. Everyone was like, nah, RWBY. Weiss is like, come on, RWBY. No, we already did that. Like I was like, this isn't what I want to see with RWBY and Weiss. Not that they need to be like happy and in love all the time, but like this is not what I want my White Rose quota spent on with the Weiss being mad at RWBY. But and then there's obviously the highlight of the episode is the one Bumblebee moment. So we'll get to that.
Yeah, always.
Well, let's talk about Jocks, I guess. Jocks. Is that S silent or no? In the name Jocks?
He's Jacques.
Jacques. Yeah.
Yeah, no S.
Okay. I kind of want to say Jocks because it sounds stupider. But he's here.
Very anglicized.
It was a very anglicized show, I would say. He's
they have the whole Jean thing. Like Jean.
Oh, that's wait.
French
Actually, I take everything
and
back
that
about
came
this
up in this
episode.
too.
We make fun of John, so I'm very happy with the episode. Jock is he lands and he's like, Ironwood, why you doing stuff in this mine? I'm gonna get the council seat and vote you out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we've got council drama happening now.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. And
election.
Yep, that's coming. We'll talk about that. So he's mad at Ironwood, and then he's like, "Oh, why?" We get the Weiss Jacques reunion, and Weiss is like, "It was my decision to come here. Believe me, I know exactly the kind of man you are." So that's a good line.
Ooh.
And then Jacques says, "Your mother was devastated when you left. You know how she gets when she's upset, and that like makes Weiss upset."
Quite sad.
Yeah. That was that like as annoying as Jacques was, I think the entire time here, this is like probably the worst thing he did. With the guilting with the mother. I mean, we don't know the situation. And like what how she gets when she's upset. We don't like have the details of that, but
she becomes the Winter Maiden. So
we'll see if she's the Winter Maiden. Probably not, because apparently the Winter Maiden's really old. But yeah, this was like pretty abusive. I think like guilty.
Oh yeah.
About and in response, Blake holds Weiss's hand, and then
so sweet.
RWBY has that look at her, which we were excited for this week. That was like it. And Weiss says, "This is my family now." Haha. And then Winter comes after, which is like, okay. Monochrome, Hayley. Is this the monochrome season? Blake holds Weiss's hand. Is this the new hot shit?
I did have that thought when that happened. But no, I think it's just building on what they had last episode where they were like, I don't know, the Weiss was properly apologizing and Blake is showing her like, yeah, no, I support you. I think it was good. Good family moment.
It's a good point. They had their discussion on privilege and race and stuff last year, which I guess relates to Jock because he's the source of a lot of fun.
Although if you're into monochrome, that's good source like material there for
I'm like
canon.
Is this like Volume 5 was the Freezer Burn season, right? And it's not like Freezer Burn's necessarily going to be an endgame ship, but maybe this
everyone
will be
likes Weiss.
Yeah, and I think everyone likes Blake too. Because I think we had some RWBY and Blake. We had a RWBY Blake hugs, I think, earlier.
Maybe.
Yeah, so Sarah, who's back now, who Mike died, monochrome season, yes?
No. I think this is just a family thing, but I mean, if
Weiss's family thing?
But I mean, like, it's I guess a Weiss's family thing, but there's also this. It's definitely more conversation on the fact that like Weiss has moved past her season 1 self, and even like season 2 and 3 in terms of her ability to like show her affection to Blake, which I think is just like familial love at this point. But I mean, I do think that you can read this as like, if you really ship Monochrome, which is a great ship, it's a fine ship. Any like the Team RWBY ships are fine or good. I mean, and this one is another good one. But I think that it's just an important thing to show Jacques particularly that she's holding hands with a Faunus, which I'm surprised wasn't mentioned in the conversation. Like, I'm surprised Jacques didn't like mention it in some way.
Yeah,
because it's not like she's hiding she's a Faunus anymore.
Yeah. People are very into the Monochrome, and all Team RWBY except for RWBY and Yang are acceptable.
Yeah, obviously. Please do not.
You have to clarify with this fandom, honestly.
Yes,
I forgot, Dylan. I forgot.
You have to be very specific. Look, if we're gonna do Monochrome, that's fine. But we also are doing a lot of Bumblebee, which I'll get to in a second. But this idea of family. So I think like I said, we're focusing on the negatives. A lot of people don't like that. There's parts of this episode I do like. I think a big theme of this episode is family. So like Weiss says, like, this is my family now, contrasting with how Hair said, we're not, we're just work friends. We're not anything more.
Not even that.
Real
like
friends.
We're just like these acquaintances. Yeah. So I think like this is like a big moment for Weiss. Like, this is her family now, and this is maybe what makes Team RWBY special. And I certainly think like they're all there for each other, and that was like a big part of that moment with Blake and Weiss. But I also, also like the season showing that there are special connections within their family. So I don't think it's like invalid to read that as romantic or anything.
I also think that I kind of like this. I kind of like the way that we are portraying the Aesop's team, because I don't think we're leading this to like a power of friendship thing, because the Aesop team works together really well. Like they are good at teamwork and working together, which is usually not what this group of people that are like with the protagonist, like this group of people that isn't like about friendship or whatever, like they're usually like bad at teamwork. No, these people are good at teamwork. They're good at working together. I think it's more just like we're contrasting to how different an experience the Aesop's team has had to the RWBY team. They've just had a different life, essentially. Like the Aesop's team is like the premier team here, but they're staying at home. They're here in Atlas the whole time, just doing missions here. Whereas Team RWBY is just like, they had to like trial by fire every step of the way to get to where they are right now. And I think that's just a different experience to go through.
Definitely. I think, I would say the show, and I believe that, I think this is something the show would argue, is that a thing, maybe the thing that makes Team RWBY special is like the bonds that they have with each other.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's kind of been a theme, especially early on. So I don't know. I feel like we're highlighting that specifically and contrasting them with, this Aesop's team, which is interesting because they're shown so competent, and their fight last week, and they're all like freaking out in the beginning. RWBY, John, and Nora are like freaking out about how good they were. So I think it's like, here's another way of doing things. They're also really good. But I think the show also wants you to know that like the way Team RWBY does things is like good and special and like the best. So I don't know, is there like another shoe that's going to drop with Aesop's team? Like, are they going to fail because they're all not close, or is it just supposed to be like there's different ways of going about things?
I don't think it's going to be I hope it's not that. Sorry, go ahead, Hayley.
Oh no, I was just going to say it's kind of interesting though, because I feel like this episode was a lot of, like I said before, a lot of throwing back to the first couple seasons where we were focused on school and how everyone is sorted into these groups of 4, right? So it's kind of an interesting total side tangent of the culture of all of this, where all of the huntsmen that exist in this world are part of this group of 3 other people. In like everyone is, except for people like Crow, but for the most part, you're part of this little crew. And maybe you don't like them, like in 10, 15 years. So that could happen, but I think it's also totally justified that maybe you're just like, oh, we have a professional relationship, like we're work friends, we're not, but we have our own independent lives. I think it's a really interesting like relationship discussion that's happening here. And I hope it doesn't come out that like, because you aren't friends and family, they fail. because I think it's totally valid to have professional relationships that are outside of your own personal relationships.
Yeah.
And I think it would be, it's kind of neat. It's a layer to this that I wasn't expecting him to go into, but it's an interesting direction.
Yeah, and I think that I think I agree with you, Hayley, and I think that if we're going more with the season, with the writing, with the arc, I think any disagreements with Aesop, like within the group, is going to happen outside of a fight. Like they're going to be, there's going to be some type of like decision they have to make, and maybe before they fight, they realize that they don't agree on something. But I don't think they're going to mess.
And then
up
they mess up their fighting and all that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to mess up their fighting in a fight because they're not friends or something like power or friendship stuff. I think it's going to be like they. Yeah, no, but I mean that's the thing in anime. Like, but I'm saying like I think something's gonna happen where like they disagree on something politically. Politics. Like we're gonna do that, and they're gonna disagree somewhere, and they're gonna side. Because I mean, like there's a couple of Faunuses in this group. There are some groups that are being elected that are very anti-Faunus, and I'm not sure which way that will go for them.
Yeah, and I think the big difference is this Aesop's team is like potentially just like a purely like work thing. Like they maybe were in a team in school and they're just like hired by Ironwood for. Whereas Team RWBY, these are like they're literally their family, and like they're all like purposefully with each other despite being sorted, I guess, together.
Wait, is Mero the only Faunus on the team?
No,
Hair as well.
Hair.
Is she a Faunus?
She's got ears. She's named after a rabbit, so
yes.
But I mean, like, no, but she doesn't have any.
I think she's got little ears.
Does she? I don't think she does.
Think so I'm gonna pull up a picture.
Okay, you pull it up.
Let me verify this.
Research. Also, Vine is weird. He could be a Faunus.
Who knows what Vine is?
Who knows what Vine's doing?
I've given up on Vine. I've given up until they tell me.
We had a Vine moment this episode. Yeah, I mean, I think like we're on Aesop's is evil watch, not necessarily because of this stuff, like that they're not friends, but I do think like anyone associated with Ironwood is sketch until we see more and we have more information. And it could be that the Aesop's team would follow Ironwood above Team RWBY, so even if they're not evil, you know, if they have disagreement with Ironwood, so I think it's yeah, but the episode interestingly calls attention to the differences in how they operate. I agree, it's probably not because like they're condemning the way Aesop's does things. I think it's more to like spotlight how Team RWBY is special with their friendship, and that the relationships between Team RWBY are important and special. Which I think is relevant for the Weiss reaction to Jocks, and I hope is relevant for the rest of the season. Like, I hope this means that this will be a recurring, prominent thing the show is approaching, which is Team RWBY's interpersonal relationships. I'm like, is this I'm desperate for anything. I'm like, is this a portent of Bumblebee soon? Right? Like, is highlighting how close they all are? Like, maybe, I don't know.
I think it's going to be about how the teens deal with Faunuses now that I'm thinking about it, because I really think that looking at these pictures that Mero's the only Faunus. I'm not sure if Hair is.
I think so. Yeah, Hair's not.
Because like, and I thought they wanted Mero.
You can't be named after an animal and not be an animal.
I know.
Okay,
it's not allowed.
It's RWBY.
Yeah, I know. These names are literal. Like,
her name's
She's
Harriet.
got little hair bits, but those just look like hair bits.
Her name is Harriet. Dylan,
Maybe she has a little tail and we don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, until someone explicitly says she's a Faunus, I'm going to assume she's not, because like, why else would Mero be not included in a mission unless it was because he was a Faunus? Like I think
that was because they needed to be subtle, and he's not.
I think that's what they were implying.
But maybe also the Faunus.
I think that's what they were implying with the camera. But I think there's another level to it of
probably
he's a Faunus. We can't do that here because they're going down.
It's interesting that like the most elite group of hunters or whatever, you know, like that there is a Faunus in that. I thought they would be not cool with that in Atlas.
But I mean, like, they've already said they're not really friends. Like, I think it might be revealed that some people in this group are racist to Faunuses. Like, I think that might be possible. Like, that's why they're not friends or whatever. Like, they don't view Mero as because like they do tease Mero a lot more than other people in the group, but it might we might learn later that it's a lot less friendly than it appears now. Like, that could be a thing that's happening.
There definitely might be some Faunus things. Did you also? I found myself insert character at the beginning of the episode, and I think it also may turn into something. So there were the two folks that were like with the binoculars, and one of them was a lamb. I'm like, okay, that's me.
Yep.
She's really into the satellite. So that I figured that made sense.
Says,
I wasn't sure where you were going, Hayley.
that's
No,
why,
I like lamb. I like
because
sheep.
they
I
have like
knit, so it makes
binoculars
sense.
and like that's why. Okay,
That too. Yeah, they're like, oh, it's amazing. Look at that majestic piece of machinery. Yeah.
I
So
can't believe it.
I'll be the lamb now. So whenever she shows up again, that'll be me.
We were
I
talking.
really hope they do.
Yeah, we're talking about this on Discord. We're calling Lamb Person Wooloo in honor of the Sword Shield release. That's Wooloo. So that's what we're gonna call
Very,
him.
you look very precious and small.
Cool. I'll do
Also, we
that.
could-
Apparently that's Hayley, so Hayley's Wooloo.
Yeah, Hayley, you're
Cool.
blue.
Big fan of the satellite. Got a front row seats.
Yeah, I guess the speculation was that they are happy huntresses for what's her name? Yeah, Robin.
It's Robin. It's Robin, Dylan. Like Robin.
But it's with the
Hood.
Y. But it's with
With
the
the
Y.
Y. It's
So I don't know
Hill
what you're
instead of-
talking about. It's Hill. Yeah, so that's what those two people in the beginning could be. Who knows? Yeah, so I do think this like continued faunus racism plotline in RWBY. I think this could be a part of the season for sure. We haven't gotten. We got last week with the privilege discussion, and then you guys are interpreting the Ironwood saying Marrow shouldn't go on as that. I think that's valid. So I think we'll see if we're building up to something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my favorite scene of the episode. Other than the quick Bumblebee scene, trying to get to after this, is Ruby and Crow talking. Shockingly, Crow is part of my favorite scene of this episode. By the way, Crow's new boyfriend, Clover, did not really do anything in this episode.
But they stood next to each other, Dylan.
Yeah, they stood next to each other, so get the fanfics going. And people are apparently interpreting last podcast that I'm not shipping them.
What? How could they interpret that ever?
Look, I'm fine with those two. Clover's just dead to me because of his semblance. But other than that, I'm shipping them. Okay, that's all. Yeah. Their semblances were not relevant this episode, so we're all good. Ruby and Crow talking about stuff. It's a lot to take in. Ruby's like, I don't know if what's best is what's right, which is a classic Ruby line. Not like the character of the show.
That's also a classic Ruby line, Dylan.
I don't blame her though. I blame the show. Ruby is Crow's like, you're different from Oz because you're trusting everyone else. You just got to make sure they prove themselves first. Are you enjoying me as Crow this season, by the way?
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you.
Very accurate.
Line.
Yeah. So I like that talk. It wasn't like really meaningful, but I think it's a good.
There's a little summer nod.
Okay, so here's the big part: is then they bring up Ruby's mom for some reason, and she's our favorite. So we have some stuff to talk about here. Summer. Okay, here's the line from this episode. Your mom, Summer, would be proud of you.
Summer.
Your mom, Summer.
Want to remind you of your mother's name.
Shut up, Ruby! Like the show, like oh my god, that's the.
I love it. It's great. It's so good.
You don't need to remind her daughter what her mom's name is.
Yeah, you know her. Oh yeah, her name's Summer. Just to make sure you know.
Just make sure you remember her from like a couple.
I was in pain with that. Oh my god. Okay. Her last mission is like, was that an Osmond secret? No, that was her secret.
A Summer secret.
But then Summer would have pressed on if she knew about Salem, like Ruby did. Okay, so
what's the secret?
So Summer went off on some mission on her own, or not on her own, and it was her secret. Mm-hmm. I think this. If you've listened to this podcast for several years, we're circling back to a long-running theory that.
Oh my god! I know what you're gonna say.
Summer is secretly disguised as the dog Zwei. And I think this is like Dylan. A lot of this. This episode provides a lot of evidence for that theory because no one saw Summer die. No one saw her die. She could be Zwei. She could be Zwei. I don't see a body. Apparently, no one else knew what happened. So if she just magically turned into the dog, then no one except maybe Taeyang knows about it. Like I think it's canon, basically.
No, unacceptable.
What do you mean unacceptable?
In normal person land, I think this implies that Summer could show up randomly in a future season.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. She might not be dead, right? Like, there's a grave for her, but did anyone see her die? I don't think so.
Like, this is the most clear, like, obvious, like, bait ever. Just like Summer's not dead. Like that's what we're saying here. Because
we saw her grave. Like, did they just make a grave with no body? Is that maybe?
That's what I assume.
Seems like an unstable place to bury someone. Just gonna say on a cliffside.
don't get me into that.
Not
I
in
will
this
talk for.
episode.
I know,
Yeah,
that's
not in
dark.
this
No.
I don't know. Where is she? What could she be doing? Like, what's her
On the
secret?
moon.
Maybe it's the moon. Who knows?
You know
Or
what?
I
maybe
literally told you guys where she is, but you're ignoring
no,
it. So.
that's not
We're
correct.
ignoring you. Were there like early season things that like
You guys are struggling to figure out where she is. I'm telling
No.
you, there's a dog
I'm
right
trying
here.
to think of who do we? Is she like a maiden?
she could be?
Where are we at in the
No,
count?
actually, no, she can't be because Ozpin. They said it wasn't part of Ozpin's plans.
Right. So I'm wondering if it's something to do with gray eyes, maybe,
No,
or silver
I
eyes,
think
not gray eyes.
Gray eyes.
The gray
It's
eyes.
the same thing.
They're also that. Maybe a silver eyes thing.
I mean, there's not much else for it to
Something-
be about unless they include another new thing.
I
Okay,
don't know.
like there could be. Okay, so the problem with Summer
Be a
is
lot.
I have no idea what her character is. I have no idea. Like
Maybe she's a goddess.
maybe.
know?
Like
Who
okay,
knows? Like that could be a thing.
this season feels like the perfect time to have a Team Strike flashback episode. Like it feels like we have like set
yeah,
up. everything
I agree
for
with that.
Like why are we not doing that at this point? Because it feels
They
like we
named
have
Team
all-
Strike. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Team
there's
Strike.
Summer, Taeyang, Raven,
Oh, yeah.
and Crow.
Yeah, that
Is
makes
that
sense.
like a thing in the show? Did they say
Yeah,
Team
they
Strike,
say
or is
Team
that a
Strike.
fan thing?
I'm pretty sure
I
it's a
missed
thing.
that.
I don't
Okay,
remember if
We
they
probably
said
did
it.
say that
No.
at some point.
Dylan, it could be a fan thing.
I think it's
I'll-
like, I mean, you know, like that. Well, it could
What
be
else?
like a thing that wasn't said in the show, but it's still a thing.
I think it might be on
That I was thinking, like, what should their flashback be this season? I think that'd be a good one. Yeah.
like
That's
just an
good.
episode of them maybe like doing it, like not even like in school anymore, just like doing like a post school mission or something. Just like maybe we could get some insight into how they interact with each other. Like I think that would be kind of beneficial at this point before we start talking about Summer in general.
I mean, we should have done it before all the reading
Oh,
stuff,
yes, yeah.
honestly. But now that we're past that, we should still do it.
I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm saying in a post season volume 6 world, we should do that.
Yeah. Post volume
It'd be
6,
good.
as in where we are now, or as in now that the show is good.
Now the show is good.
That's what I thought you meant. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely meant that. Like, I
Now
don't
that
want
the
it during-
show is good.
Okay, actually, I do want it during season 4 because any other episode would have been better. But
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not convinced the show. Yeah, I think this season is firmly volume 5 territory so far. But anyway.
okay, Dylan,
Um,
I'm being hopeful. I was
we're being
hopeful last.
yeah.
episode.
We're
We
being
still got like Robin and all of them. Like I think she's going to be a cool storyline.
I'm looking forward to the Robin stuff, I guess, except it's
Yeah.
politics. But she seems cool. Yeah. So in conclusion, Summer's away, and I didn't hear a firm theory that is as good as that theory. So that's
Well,
what we're
I
still
don't
talking
know.
about.
What if that actually is the case?
Okay,
I'm not joking.
Oh, no.
I don't know why you guys think I'm
I
joking.
know, but I'm kind of like
not joking.
it could
Okay.
be real.
Dylan, if that actually happens, I don't know
Yes.
what I'm gonna do. 'Cause
Okay,
I
you
don't
gotta think of something. What
like
you're
there,
gonna
there
do?
must be like a bet I can make with you because
Please,
like
please
I
do.
It'll
It'll pay off in 20 years when the show ends, and we know for sure
Yeah.
Summer's not sway. Because until it ends, the show ends, it could be possible.
like there's probably something I could offer up to do if Summer is way, but I cannot think about the top man. I will think about it before next week.
Sarah's solo podcast going on the RWBY feed. 45 minutes detailing all the facets of Summer's way in
Summer's way.
retrospect now that it happened.
Oh my god,
Uh,
that's I should.
No.
If you leave me alone, I'm just gonna do a podcast about the fables gone over in the show.
No,
just
you
for-
have to stay on topic too the entire time about Summer
Only
goes
about
away.
Sway.
Here's all the reasons
Will you
why
actually
it was
listen
gonna.
to this podcast to make sure I stay on topic?
Oh, I'm gonna listen before I publish it. Yeah, I gotta
yeah.
probably fall asleep during the middle, but it's fine.
Wow,
it's
my
gotta-
voice is that boring.
No, more like this topic is last for 45
Oh,
minutes.
you're saying this is boring.
No, it's amazing theory, but it's not like Summer Rose is the most exciting of characters. So
Oh
she's
my
not really a
God.
character. Right
This is why
now.
we need a flashback. We need to know what Summer was like.
Yeah. That's in conclusion. Yeah, we've circled back to let's learn more about Summer. I agree.
I think we
Um,
also got a nod of like the whole theory where Crow and Summer are like the parents of RWBY.
Okay.
Did you
Yeah.
catch that? 'Cause there
Apparently,
was a
so
moment where he's
Miles
like,
and
"I
Carrie
like
have
bratty
continually
girl."
said that's not happening. Crow is not Ruby's father, which you
I
know
don't
they
know.
could be lying.
They look
Um,
identical.
It's identical.
Taeyang's her dad? Sure.
I don't
okay.
believe that at all. She has no Taeyang in her at all.
Not at all.
Okay, conspiracy theory section of the pod finished.
Oh, you know what happened? Summer went off and had another baby, and we're gonna have another Ruby sister.
Yeah, who knows?
I'm on board with that, actually.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Evil RWBY.
actually.
Nega RWBY, yeah. Oh, my
Nega-
God.
Yeah.
I'm in. Okay.
Like, I'm in on this theory, Dylan.
Ruby's twin sister. Like, it's such. This show is like not above a soap opera, so I think it would.
Like Cinder finds her or something and recruits her.
Yeah, that's true. If Summer's alive, she could have a kid. Like,
Yeah. Dylan, we could have like a Scythe versus Scythe fight between two
Oh,
Rubies. Like, just
man.
imagine that.
That'd be amazing. We
Yes.
actually do that.
I would
So
honestly,
much
I would take that over Atlas politics. Like, this
That'd be
would so much more
amazing.
exciting.
Dylan, there's a lot of things I take over politics.
Yeah,
like
but
we
this
talked about this
especially.
in Discord too. We're always on the politics shows together, and I hate it.
Yeah. Well, so is honestly though, is Jacques? Are they doing Trump stuff with him?
I think so, Dylan. It's
Yeah.
one of the
He's a
main things about
businessman.
Ruby's racism.
Right. He's a businessman running for a politics seat against a woman.
But to be council seat, I thought he was like not the king, but basically the king. But he's just really rich and owns
Yeah,
a
he
big
just-
company.
just-
So
yeah.
He's literally Trump.
how
he's
is
a
he not
racist old
already on the
guy.
council?
It's,
He's not
yeah,
on the council.
you
That's
got the
weird.
impression I think from previous seasons that he was already in power, but I guess not.
Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, I'm not going to get into that right now, but he's rich. He has power. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm just surprised he didn't think
staying
about-
on staying on Jock. Let's
Yes.
the last major topic I want to talk about is the ending scene with Dr. Watts
Oh,
comes to visit
God.
Jock.
Right.
Okay.
First of all, our favorite Whitley is back.
Oh,
okay,
wait.
Whitley was fine.
It's like, Father, you have a visitor.
Papa.
Yeah, no, I don't think he sounds like that, but I don't really know because
But he sounded actually like not like mean this episode. He
Yeah.
actually sounded scared.
Although
which
Dr. Watts was like, you've a clone who's also a jerk. Like that's basically what a little clone. That's
Also,
basically what.
side note about this scene, which I feel like is a whole other rabbit hole we could go down. So above Jacques' desk, he's got what I think is a self-portrait, but he's got brown hair in that one.
does.
Yes, which makes no sense because the kids both have white hair, and his wife has white hair, and he has white hair. And
Are they implying that he has white hair like in old age, not like?
well,
I think
that's
that's
what
what
I'm
it's
thinking.
implying.
Is it that? But then his kids have white hair, so do they all dye their hair?
What?
Or is he trying to match with his? Maybe his wife has white hair, and that's like means something. So he dyed it to match.
I don't even want to think about this anymore.
I don't know.
I
It just
already
seemed
hate
really
this topic.
weird. It was like dark,
It's a pretty
like
bad
black
topic.
craft. Terrible
I
topic, but I
hate this.
couldn't look away.
I'm glad this is the type of insight Hayley brings. I would not have thought of this.
I was just
No, I
staring
wouldn't
forward
either,
to
and I hate
what
it.
is this?
I think this is a UA situation. With the
Yeah, no.
Don't make me think about
Maybe.
UA.
Watch
What?
like episode 10.
They're
This
both
comes back
to the
to
North
haunt
Pole. People in fantasy worlds in the North Pole, you need to have white
have
hair.
white
That's
hair.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hate it.
it's pretty stupid. Okay.
It's really stupid.
No pigmentation up
Yeah,
north.
it's just snow aesthetic white hair.
Oh, I just want to mention Whitley one more time because I think like this is the first time it's really shown that he's like scared of his dad in some way. Like he was scared to open that door and tell his father that someone was here for him. And I think it's important to remember that like everyone like kind of talks about Whitley being like the worst person ever, but she's like I'm sorry, my cat is being really loud right now.
Yeah, I hear.
She yeah.
Whitley.
Whitley is abused too. Like he's not in a really good place either. Like people talk about him being a horrible person, but I mean like he's like what 12 or 10 or something like
Yeah.
in an abusive parent situation. Like I think I just want to be like, let's not like say too much horrible stuff about Whitley. Like
He's got a lot going on.
he's a victim. Like clearly he's responsible for what he does. Like he's not a good person, but he's still a victim too right now. He's still a kid. He has a chance to like get out of the situation and be better.
Yeah, I actually agree. Lay off Whitley. He is
Like-
let's see what the season does with him.
Like you can still say his actions are bad, but like don't call him like the worst person
I
ever.
think he
Like,
didn't even do anything in
No, no,
Volume
but
4
he-
bad.
he-
Like
He's
people
just bratty.
he's just
the
bratty
fa-
to Weiss, right? Like he's just a
Yeah.
bratty younger brother.
Mhm.
yeah, that's what he is. And I think
Yeah.
that like honestly a lot of the stuff he does isn't that far out of bounds for like just a normal kid his age. It's like let's be real here. He's a kid and Jock sucks. He's an only parent
Yes.
kid.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get more information on the situation.
I would,
Surprised to see Whitley at the end of the episode.
yeah,
Well, it didn't really make much sense though, because he was like a strange man walked into the mansion, and he was the one who was forced to bring him to. I don't know that.
Yeah,
Like,
Watts
where's
could
the
have just
butler?
came into the office. Yeah,
I-
actually, that's true. Where is the butler?
I think they just wanted to remind us, like, oh yeah, that's a character. cool.
I think what they were hiding behind the door was that like Watts was like threatening Whitley to bring him to Jacques. Like I think because
that also seems to be happening.
Like, and then as soon as the door opened, Watts was like not threatening anymore. Like I think that was more what the I think that's more what the hesitancy for Whitley was. Not that like he was afraid to talk to his dad, but that he was afraid of getting hurt. Probably.
Yeah. Strange man is here.
Yeah.
And he's well, Josh is like, I have an iron. Well, first I was like, you're not dead. Okay. He's like, I heard you were dead. That's what I wanted people to think.
Did he actually say that? Did he?
No,
actually?
it wasn't that exact line, but yeah.
Okay.
That's what he said.
But pretty much that's how I remember it going.
That's what I wanted people to think.
Yeah.
I think it's that's what I wanted people to think. I have an ironwood problem. I'd lay off every employee in Mantle if I wasn't trying to get their damn votes for this council seat. Yeah, that's what he says. And then we have the best line of the episode.
Oh, goodness.
What if I said you could have your cake and eat it too?
What does that even mean?
Because there was cake in the episode. That's why. There's cake themes.
Jacques' cake? What's his cake here?
What if I said you could have your cake and eat it too?
I think maybe he's meaning, what if you could... I don't know why he wants to fire everyone in Mantle, but...
He wants to fire everyone and win the election, and Watts is like, you could do both. You can be a double
that really
jerk.
what his cake is?
I don't know, maybe.
Why does he want to fire
everybody? Like,
what if I said you could have your cake and eat it too?
It doesn't help. It doesn't help to say it again.
Okay.
Look, I just want to highlight the brilliance of this line. I'm just going to say it a bunch until we understand.
And the fact that we ate cake earlier in the episode, like, there's a lot of cake.
Dylan, Jacques is definitely the Trump stand-in, because what kind of business logic is this? Like, you don't fire everybody in your company, you just pay them really crappily. Like, you don't fire everybody.
He's losing money, so he has to fire everyone. Okay, we need to talk about that. But I think Watts is, I guess he's saying, like, you can be a jerk and win the election.
I know
because we're gonna blame all this on Ironwood, right? Like,
why does it be ominous? We live in the real world right now, Rooster Teeth. We know that's possible.
What if I said you could have your cake and eat it too? Honestly, this is like maybe one of the worst lines in RWBY history, and the scene is bad. And after last week, I already complained about how they keep ending scenes on Tyrion and Watts, and this is another terrible one. The scene wouldn't be that bad if this line at the end wasn't here, but they can't help themselves. This is like really horrible. This line,
yeah,
like, I don't know what to say. Like, how did this? Why can we just stop with these types of lines?
Okay,
we do it all the time.
But Dylan, at the very least, this is the closest Watts has been to the main cast ever.
Yeah, it's getting closer.
Jacques was in this episode and then appears at the end and then he intersects with the villains. I'm fine with that if this was the only scene with those after the episode and we hadn't kept having it before. But even with all that, I'm still fine with it. If he doesn't say this ridiculous line, like...
Dylan, this is the reaction they wanted from you.
I think so.
What? Are they trying to write a good show? This is like Volume 4 type baffled. Like, I just don't...
Who's the writing credit for this episode?
Somehow not Miles. No,
it's not? Oh my god.
No, not Miles. One of the two new writers.
Someone else in the group, in the writing team.
When you're new writers, you feel the pressure to fit into the RWBY staff, so you're like, okay, I need a stupid line at the end of the episode, because that's how it always works. And so that's how you come up with this line.
No, I like.
Can we just bring Cinder back, please?
Also, Cinder and Neo don't exist anymore.
Like Cinder, I think of the rationale behind this is they're like, okay, last season we were talking all about Cinder and Neo, and then this season it's all about Watts and Tyrion. But I think that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, and then it'll culminate next season.
Like I want to see Neo.
No, the show doesn't think of it like that. It thinks of it as you're binging a 15-hour binge 20 years from now. That's how it's
Why?
Yeah.
Why though?
No, there's no good reason, but that's the way the show works.
And
that's why Bumblebee isn't kissing, because that has to culminate next season too.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's talk about Bumblebee. We've split off the best part of the episode. There's a very quick scene where Yang, after they have cake, Yang goes over to Blake. And they're eating cake, and Yang takes a bunch of selfies with Blake.
So many selfies.
Aww.
Just so excited.
And they're both...
It was great.
And Blake looks surprised at first, and then she gets really excited. It's really cute.
Yeah.
It's adorable. I still stand by my thinking of last week that I guess what would now be next week's episode, there's going to be a moment where they're alone and can talk, and then like
I hope so.
move beyond. I think it would make sense because even more so because probably next episode is going to be like they go out on different side hunt missions, and like Blake and Yang will get matched up on one, and then they'll get to talk during that and save each other, and who knows.
Yeah, that was a great call. A great call last week. Great prediction. I think there is. Did not happen this episode, but there is prime opportunity next week because there's like we need two people to help take down the saber-toothed Grim in the sewers. Two people, Blake and Yang.
It'll be Nora and Ren, Dylan.
Oh God.
Well, they'll get their own one though.
It would be John. And
no, Jim. It's Jim, Dylan.
Oh, actually,
Jim's
okay. We didn't get to that
kids.
part. We can't establish that yet. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Yeah, okay. Jim is helping the kids. That's true.
We should call him Jim every time now, Dylan.
That's what I was gonna say. Don't spoil it. Okay. I'm gonna propose that running joke in a second. But yeah, but the talking point with Bumblebee is we've had consistent scenes with Bumblebee like every episode. This is clearly something that either the show wants to keep on the top of our minds to build up to something soon, what Hayley's thinking, or they're aware that it's popular with the fans and they just want to insert something in every episode, even though they're not going to pay it off, which I am skeptically thinking is the case. And
if it doesn't happen next episode, who knows what next episode's going to be, but if next episode is them going on side missions and it doesn't happen then it's not happening until the end of the season.
Okay, I'll tell you what next episode's going to be. So next week, for some reason, they're actually like finishing episodes more than a week in advance. Next episode's called Sparks, and the description is between missions.
Like Love Sparks?
Between missions, training, and political unrest, rising political unrest. These fledgling huntsmen and huntresses have quite a lot on their hands. That description could totally have just them on a mission.
I think what's happening though, I think all three of those things are happening in that mission at the same time. Like I think we're going to see Blake and Yang on a mission together. Some people training, like RWBY training with Hair.
Yeah, I think it'll like flash between stuff.
Yeah. Like I think we're finally getting like groups splitting up a little bit for the season because everyone's been together the whole season so far, which is a little weird because there's too many characters to like focus on everybody.
It's so
in a big scene.
Funny when they all walk together down staircases or something.
And it's
just like there's like 20 people.
yeah.
Maybe there's too many characters on the show.
Where did they all come from?
This building is not made for like they have to like change buildings just so like all of them can fit together. Like it's crazy.
That's why they got the stadium.
How they all fit in that one guy's house, Petty's dad's house. There were so many of them.
It's a shop too.
How'd they all live with John's sister and wife last season? Like they all lived there.
What? Okay, have they mentioned food once this season? Like, what have they been eating?
No, they don't need to. I don't know. They're eating jerky or
something. At the Academy's lunchroom. Yeah.
But they got Ironwood. He's got food somewhere.
But this episode,
I don't know.
That's a good quote. I agree. Ironwood has food somewhere. That's a strong point from Haley. You think Ironwood would have food somewhere? So
yeah, he's got a whole army with him.
Oh my god! You know what I want now? I want Penny to make food for everybody, and like make it like
Penny
really
cuts the cake in this episode. With
I know
knife.
that was great.
That was a funny moment. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Also, I think I said the thumbnail for next week is Robin. So she will be
finally getting maybe.
If we have like a Robin and Bumblebee episode.
Yeah, that would be perfect, right?
That's gonna be amazing.
Maybe Robin sucks. We have not met her yet. Who knows?
No, she's gonna be amazing.
Sucks in her political views. You mean, Dylan?
Like Robin's like the good politician running against the evil, and then she turns out to be evil too. Like that's a classic.
I'm still there for it. She gives me Sienna Khan vibes, and we all know I love.
No! Don't you put that evil on her? Like she'll die. You want her to die the second she shows up.
Fighting Tyrion with Crow in the opening credits. So
and she could die immediately after that. Like
but she'll live for a little bit.
Okay, I agree with you that the fight she has with like. All the fights in the opening, I think, are actually going to happen because that happened last season.
Yeah, sometimes there's stuff in the opening that doesn't literally.
But happen. That looks like something that is going to happen, and I'm really excited for it. Like,
it's an odd characters for it not to be a real fight in the story.
It's very specific, but it also looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Sparks next week. Yeah, is it Bumblebee Sparks? Is it someone like shoots lightning out of something? Political spark. Yeah. What if it's political sparks and Bumblebee Sparks is like the A and the B? Like. I mean, I'm not eyeing like the political sparks, but like
No.
anything with Bumblebee.
Well, Robin,
like,
I want Robin political sparks.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so that's we've wrote our perfect episode. Now tune in next week to find out how disappointed we are when it doesn't happen. Going through, what'd you say?
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. It's going to disappoint. Yeah.
No.
Look, I just know that Ironwood has food somewhere, so I think everything will be okay.
Yeah. I also, based on this, is like also a very aside, but it was bugging me. Every time I look at Crow, I feel cold because he's got his sleeves rolled up all the way.
Yeah.
It seems chilly. It's bugging me. It's like the bare midriff last season.
I think you lost Dylan.
I might have. But
it was the delivery on that was really good. The pause. I feel cold. Why? Because he's a bad person? Because he's going through a lot of trauma? No, because his sleeves rolled up. Okay.
I was so sure that's where she was going to.
No. Right? No. Is it because he's like a new voice actor and he's a shadow of his former character? No, like he's sleeves rolled up.
No, he just seems chilly.
Oh my god, I can't breathe.
He seems cold.
By the way, after our discussion last week, I can't help but notice Blake's zippers every time she's on screen.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Zippers. Also, aren't her ears cold too?
No, she's a cat. She's fine.
But then shouldn't she be fine? Like, okay. Shouldn't she be fine always, though? Let's go through. We missed some like minor moments. Let's go through the rest of the episode. Elm and Marrow. They talk.
Right. Yes.
No, Nora wants to be Elm's new best friend. Thunder Thighs. What?
Why thighs?
They're trying to name the ship for us, Dylan.
You can't just name the RWBY ships for us. The fandom has to come up with bad names on their own. Come on.
They did that for a lot of them, though. Like, they named Bumblebee in show.
Thunder,
yeah. With the move. They were like, Bumblebee.
They did the movie in season 2.
I think the ship name existed before.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But they said it.
Thunder Thighs, and then Rin, like, picks Nora up after. She's, like, rejected, I guess, for that. Then, we talked about Aesop's not being friends. RWBY wants to explore Atlas. The guy in the plane died. Apparently I got that. Apparently last week Sarah was trying to tell me that the guy.
I was trying to tell you. You just kept saying no. We don't know who he is, and I'm like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, that was that guy.
Yeah, no,
I missed that.
You got it
I knew
too,
that.
Right, Hayley?
Look, I wasn't supposed to know until this episode. This episode illuminates it for us.
I mean,
RWBY was really shook up by it.
Yeah. So, I guess this is important. There's someone in Mantle is trying to take out people who speak against Ironwood to frame him. We know that it's Tyrion. So that's their plan. That's what I said. Their plan is to frame Tyrion to
Okay, if next episode ends with like us having like a whole we like have a whole conversation with Robin and then ends with like Tyrion there like immediately, like I'll be fine. Like we can just move on to that plot already and just show the fight and
I assume because we keep showing them at the end of episodes, they're going to show up soon. Yeah.
We're getting closer.
I don't know how many episodes I can take of this until we get to like the actual action of this.
I know, you just need to see the tail. You're having tail withdrawal.
Dylan, I'm having a lot of withdrawal with this show.
From the
it's going to be good. Next episode's going to be good.
Jock stuff. What else we got? Winter was there, kind of.
I also loved Winter. How she's just like, yeah, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm avoiding him.
I like how Weiss is just like, I'm gonna confidently stand up to my dad, and Winter's like, I'm gonna hide in this car.
Yeah, she's like, bye.
Rip.
So like, I do not hold that against Winter at all.
Both approaches are valid, right? Like,
I am totally hidden in a car and let someone I don't want to see me just go by before I get out. Like that is.
Just gotta deal with him all the time.
Yeah.
Also,
Penny lands with like a surprise thing on top of her.
Congratulations.
And congratulations or whatever. Yeah. And,
she was sweet.
I missed one of the best lines of the episode. That it was so good they had to name the episode after it. That's about all the pomp I have in me.
It was so funny. Oh my god!
And like funny and like this was like a funny line from the show, or like this
funny
was, like,
and stupid. Terrible all at the same time.
Okay, that's fine.
This was
like not it wasn't a comedic moment.
All the pomp I have.
It was just so ridiculous.
There's probably been. Oh my god!
I guess it's like Pomp and Circumstance because they're like kind of graduating because they get their licenses. Yeah, it's fine. But this is
the worst.
It's not the worst. Like the worst is the last line.
The cake is the worst. Yeah.
What if this episode was named like cake and eating and cake or something, or like something stupid?
Eat your cake. Yeah. Your cake could eat it. Yeah. It would be.
Eat it too. Like that's or like what if this episode was eat your cake? Dylan, what if this episode was eat your cake and next episode was and Or no, what do we
Have your
the
cake,
next
and next
episode
episode
eat it
is
too.
eat it too. That would
Like,
be
I would
pretty-
love
okay, I would like that.
Dylan, we would be so upset with it, but I think we would actually like that. If there
I
was
would
a new
actually like it. It would be stupid enough. I would like it. Your speech outros are improving, sir, says Penny.
That was sweet.
Other than Penny cutting the cake with her knives, I think we are still misusing Penny.
Yep,
Well, she's gonna get hacked soon, so like, who knows what's gonna happen?
You can't. Penny's back, and I feel cold about Penny. Like Penny's like
Yeah.
the most like ball of light in the show, and she's just like not interacting with our main
No,
characters.
she really isn't.
We really need just constant RWBY Penny scenes.
I hope
We're not
she's with
getting
the
it.
group next episode.
She might be,
That'd be good.
maybe. It's a lot of characters to.
I think what
like,
they were implying in
wrangle,
the first episode is that Penny really doesn't leave Mantle and Atlas that much because she needs to
True.
be there all the time. So like she
True.
couldn't come on this mission with them to come here. But maybe if they're in Atlas and Mantle, she can hang around them still.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Maybe she'll be there on the mission. That'd be fun. Penny like pulls Yang's arm off. Also, Nora's like, I'm gonna eat all the cake before Ren does, and nobody's arguing about that. Nora. A lot of Nora this episode, which was good.
A lot of Nora, but it was kind
It's
of
all
the
like
same thing.
Like, yeah, it's all the same. It's always the same gag with Nora.
I know, like
It's kind of
yeah.
The mission board, it's an app now. Ruby's like, I'm going to go undercover, and she says it with like an accent. It's cute, I guess.
I mean, that was a moment for Penny, at least, because like Penny thought that was cute too.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
there's Penny was there. Yeah,
She was doing it for Penny. Like she's Ruby. Ruby
okay,
is like
yeah, that's good. That's good.
like I think Ruby is like actively like drifting into this younger persona when she's around Penny, and I think we might hopefully we would touch on that because she seems
let's
more
touch on
childish
that.
with her.
Let's touch on that. The Aesops come in, smells like fresh meat, and then Vine and Ren don't understand kindred spirits. John's gonna help escort the children. John,
No, Jim.
Juan, John, Jim.
Yeah.
And I love that he just like immediately just goes like, yeah, I'm Jim, whatever. Like he just immediately goes.
He's
sure.
like, yeah, close enough. Yeah. Yeah. I also had the thought, what if we just call John Jim like the rest of the history of the podcast? We
his
just
name
call
has
him
always
Jim.
been Jim.
But like, is it worth the comments? Like, you guys
So
are
many people would
wrong.
be
His
so
name's
mad
Jim, not John.
Dylan,
Like, it was
you would
the
live
opposite.
for those comments. Be honest, you would love.
And then, okay, if we do that, then I'm just gonna reply like, no, his name's Jim. Like
yeah,
we'll
no,
talk
you
about
have
that.
to. Like that is gonna be like someone's gonna listen to this podcast even next week if we never mention John's name. Like they will be so upset with us.
Okay, can we just should we just agree to always call him Jim from now on?
Yes,
Sure,
Are
a
you
little
on board,
podcast
Hayley?
inside joke. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Haley's like, why would I not be on board with
Okay.
that?
I'm
And
like,
there's-
yeah, I don't have any strong.
we got to get
opinions.
like Beatrice on board too. Beatrice might be filling in for me in December for a few weeks. So we gotta.
Or she'll just be really
confused.
confused.
Or she, yeah. What if you control Beatrice with this later too?
Yeah, we're like,
Oh my God, she'd
Jim,
be
come on,
so-
Beatrice.
Save Jim. I do
Jim.
think it's pretty on point that Jim is going to watch kids. Like, yeah.
Oh, he's Jim is basically a glorified crossing guard. So
Yeah.
that's his persona. So this is fitting for him.
I hope we just don't like actually like follow him next episode. We just like see him leaving with kids at one point. Like, bye, Jim. Good luck today.
I mean,
That would be great if you just buy like good luck with the
Like,
kids. And then
Ruby's
he
like,
shows
good luck.
up at
You'll
the
do
end.
great.
He shows up at the end with like a bunch of like kids drawing him and stuff, or
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It would be good. And yeah, just making fun of Jim's name is a great gag.
I
I'm
hope
glad the
someone
show's
else-
aware of that.
Oh my God. I hope like Penny calls him Jim or something.
Has Penny ever interacted with him? Like,
No,
she
she
could call
hasn't.
him-
That's why I
I mean,
call him Jim.
the robot with the memory like should know, but it would be good.
But when he responded to Jim, she'll be like, "Oh, his name's Jim now."
Oh, that's that's true. She like updated her records.
Yeah, she updates it as a response to the name Jim.
oh man.
Okay, so that's Jim. That's all I got.
I have something else.
Yes.
One more thing about Jock in the part where he almost like he gets mad at Weiss. He moves his like sleeve a bit, like he's like adjusting it, but it looks like he might be hiding something in his sleeve. Like he might have something under there. Like I'm a little suspicious of
What's under there?
Yeah, like he's because like his sleeve goes up a little bit, like he's gonna punch Weiss or something, but then he like pulls it back down and like buttons up the button again and goes like, "Yeah, I'll leave." And
He
then
have he has a knife under there?
maybe he has like maybe there's another robot arm thing going on.
Mm.
This would be the third robot arm if that's true, Dylan.
It'd be exciting.
Everyone has grim arms.
Okay, if he has a Grim arm, I would be equally.
Whoa.
There'd be another Extendo arm villain.
Whoa. Yeah. We just need the end game is everyone has extendo
But
arms
to
on
be
the show.
real, like I would not be surprised if Jacques is like he's getting off this air of like he can't fight, but he did train his daughters to fight really well.
Dude,
like
I guess he did that.
Yeah.
he like forced them into this role. Like I would not be surprised if he has some amount of like fighting ability. And he's
Yeah,
just
are we
not
doing the
showing.
classic like rich guy enhance? Like he's the first to get cybernetic enhancements or something. Yeah.
Or like what he's doing is like he pretends to be this old rich guy who's not like intimidating, but like as soon as like he closes all the doors, like he's the trope where he's really powerful and fights people fine.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed pretty confident on his own with Watts. Like he's like, Whitley, leave. So maybe he's capable.
And also, he didn't seem worried at all around Ironwood and Team RWBY. Like, he didn't seem worried at all.
Yeah, he didn't have guards there. It was just him.
It was just him. Like, I think that he's
that's a fair point.
I think he's hiding some kind of ability. And, like, I think Weiss didn't, like, threaten him, but she did, like, give at least threatening language to him, and he was fine with it. Like, he did not hesitate.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm pretty sure he's a Grimmarm. That's what I'm going to say.
I mean, sure.
I think so.
Cool.
That's a good call. The show would totally do like Jocks just like starts fighting people. It's like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. So that'll happen. Okay. Hayley, anything else from the episode or final thoughts?
No. I think
No.
it was good. I think we made progress with
Or satellite.
finding a self-insert character for me.
Yeah, you're Wooloo. We know that now.
I'm Wooloo.
I don't know if you have any idea what Wooloo is, but you're Wooloo.
No, I don't. But
Okay.
whatever.
Really, it's good.
And
The compliment.
yeah, I'm more so excited for my like version of next episode.
I mean, that's what we're excited about.
We'll see what happens.
It's such a bad idea to like plan out next episode. RWBY
I
will not
know.
do it. Like,
We always do this though, Dylan. We do it every week. We say, "Oh,
Is it?
RWBY."
it's a really good episode idea, but like that's why they're not. Gonna
I
do
feel
it.
like we've come up with like at least 30 good episode ideas, Dylan.
Yeah. That's
Who
fine.
knows? No, I think whatever.
And I'm not saying writing's easy. Like writing's hard. I'm not saying it's
It's
not.
so
There's
hard.
our RWBY
So
rewrite fanfic. Yeah.
Yeah, we're saying we're writing our fanfic, and we'd be
Yeah.
so excited to watch it.
Yeah. Okay. Sarah, final
There
thoughts.
you go.
Yeah, we talked so much. Like, there's not much to say other than, everyone knows about Tyrion now, so hopefully that means he shows up and we can be done with him sooner.
Yeah, you just want the tail to come sooner.
I want the tail to come back. I want to get cut off again, and then I want him to die.
No, it'll just
Be dramatic.
he'll get a new tail.
Oh my! What if they cut off the end and it's just the metal bit, and he pretends to be like all scared about it? Then he just pulls out another one and puts it on the end in the middle of the fight.
See, you're so excited. You're so excited about it.
Excited 'cause it's
Don't
supposed to
put
be
that
something.
idea out into the world.
Haley.
You were worse with the Sienna Con with the comparison.
Haley, I don't need to put these thoughts in the world. The crew has already directly attacked me with this tale multiple
They've
times.
already thought of every tail situation, don't they?
They
That's
have.
what they spend their time on.
Somebody in the crew loves this tale for some reason, and they want
What
to
do you
show
mean for
it.
some reason? It's the coolest thing ever.
I think so.
Yeah, you think it is the
No, I'm
coolest thing
looking at
ever.
Haley.
No.
Shut up.
No, yeah, I heard you respond to me. Okay. That's it for Pomp and Circumstance. Let us know what you thought of our theories on the episode. Whatever we
And let
talked
us know
about
about
it.
Jim, how much you like Jim?
Yeah, did you like Jim this episode? Makes me think of Jim from The Office, which he's basically like a sucky version of Jim from The Office.
Did you like Jim's hair this episode more? Like, I feel like at this, like, I don't know what it was, but I'm
It's
more.
growing on you, Jim's hair?
Yeah, I'm surprised. I still hate it, but it's better than last week.
You get used to it.
Yeah,
so,
that's probably
I realize what is making me a lot happier with his outfit is he got rid of that silly hood.
Yeah, that's stupid. But also, he's in
The
the
rabbit hoodie, it's
for a
iconic.
hoodie.
No.
It's what?
It's the one time for a hoodie, Dylan, and he took it
Because
off.
they're in cold weather, yeah.
He finally takes
You just
it off.
gotta
and
take
they're-
off the hoodie, okay? Jim is an adult now and has no time for hoodies. That's just what I'm saying.
I am so upset about the cold weather thing. It gets worse every time I think about it.
Yeah, just wait till Blake's zippers become unzipped. Then it's really cold.
Weren't they already unzipped?
No, the one on her arm is
Just the arm
unzipped,
ones.
yeah. It's just one on like one of her arms. Like,
So funny.
Oh my god, I'm so upset.
Okay. In general?
Yes.
I don't like that. That's why we should. It's doing a number on you, Sarah, where we leave off in RWBY.
Okay.
Podcast.
Yes, it's true, Dylan. Because I start thinking about if we go this long in a podcast about RWBY, I start thinking about Aura too much, and I get really upset.
And Sarah said the magic word, so that's it for this week. That cues the end of the podcast.
Yep.
overlyanimated.com/discord, talk about what it does. patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our patrons, especially Danny, aka Danny Phantom, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers Ryan, Steve, Alex, Features, Hugh, Michael, and Needle. Yep, that's RWBY for this week. We'll be back for Robin next week and hopefully Bumblebee, but probably not. We'll see. It'll be great.
We'll see.
Then thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.